Alright, so today wanted to take a close look at Michigan's 2024 offensive depth chart. It is one of the main questions going into the 2024 season. How will Michigan's offense look, and will the offense be good enough to compete for another championship this upcoming season? We already know their defense is going to be stellar again, but we also all know that you have to be able to score points to win games. Obviously, the main question mark is the quarterback position. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The first position group I wanted to talk about, though, is the offensive line. So let's go ahead and go over who they have lost. They lost all 5 starters, including 6th man Trente Jones. So Michigan's offensive line will be entirely new next season. Now, Michigan does have a lot of talent in the room. Also, some guys that have good experience and have gotten playing time in the past. So that is a good thing for Michigan there. And obviously, new head coach Sherrone Moore. He is coming from being Michigan's offensive line coach and offensive coordinator last season. So the offensive line is a very important piece to this team. It has been for the past 3 years. It's one of the main reasons Michigan has had so much success with their running game, their offensive line. They won 2 Joe Moore Awards and also, quite frankly, outperformed the Joe Moore Award winner out of Washington last season in the national championship. But Michigan, they have Myles Hinton, who is a senior. He came in last year as a transfer from Stanford. Now, Hinton, he started off as a starter, was a little inconsistent last season. However, he plays up to his potential at left tackle. Could potentially be a high round draft pick in next year's draft, but he is a big boy. He's got experience, going to be one of the leaders on the offensive line this upcoming season. He will be a starter. Michigan, they also got the Northwestern transfer Josh Preby. He will also be a starter as well, and he is probably the most experienced offensive lineman on the Michigan roster. Should be a good replacement for Traeger Keegan or Zach Zinner at guard. Then Greg Crippen, he is a senior. Michigan also has Raheem Anderson. Both of these guys will be competing for the center position or for a position at guard. Michigan also has Giovanni El-Hadi, who I see as a starter as well. He played a lot last season, and he did start in 3 games as well in 2022. Michigan also has Andrew Gentry, who is one of the oldest players on the roster. He turns 23 during the season. He has 3 years of eligibility remaining. He was a top 100 player from the 2020 class, though he went on his 2-year mission. He's played snaps at guard and tackle during his first 2 seasons. The starting offensive line for Michigan, I project it to be Myles Hinton, Josh Preby, Greg Crippen, Giovanni El-Hadi, and Andrew Gentry. For Michigan, they also have players like Jeffrey Percy, who appeared in all 15 games last year. They also have Tristan Bounds, Connor Jones, Dominic Giudice, who actually switched to the offensive line from the defensive line midway through the 2022 season, and obviously Raheem Anderson as well, which we talked about. Him and Greg Crippen should be competing for that starting job at center. Those are a couple guys that will add depth to the offensive line. Michigan, they did lose Amir Herring to the transfer portal, and they also have sophomores out of Evan Link and Nathan Ifobi. They also signed a pretty big 2024 class, as they have the freshmen coming in: Blake Frazier, Jake Guarnera, Andrew Sprague, Luke Hamilton, and Ben Roebuck. That's how Michigan's offensive line depth chart looks like. Let me know in the comment section who you guys think will be the starters, and also who could have a bigger season this upcoming season. Obviously, Michigan has the new offensive line coach out of Grant Newsome, who was previously the tight ends coach. Seems he has done a pretty good job so far. Sherrone Moore even said that he is a future head coach one day. So let's go ahead and talk about the quarterback position now. Talked a lot about it before already. The quarterbacks in competition is obviously Alex Orji, Jack Tuttle, Davis Warren, Jaden Denegale, and you also have the freshman quarterback Jaden Davis. Now, the 3 quarterbacks that really have a shot is Alex Orji, Jack Tuttle, Davis Warren, in that order, I believe. If Michigan were to play a game today, it would most likely be Alex Orji as your starting quarterback. He's an explosive athlete, can use his legs. The only thing that is going to limit him him is his passing and his consistency as a passer. That is the only question mark about Alex Orji, and he knows it. He knows he has to, at the end of the day, make good passes, accurate throws. None of these quarterbacks are going to be a JJ McCarthy. He was just that good for Michigan last season. But Sherrone Moore is going to be looking for a quarterback that is mobile in the pocket, can make consistent, accurate throws, and also doesn't put the ball in harm's way. Alex Orji, he certainly can run, and we obviously saw Davis Warren in the spring game make some fantastic throws, especially the deep balls. But one guy who is going to be interesting is Jack Tuttle. He is going to be a 7th-year player, has a lot of experience. He started at Indiana for multiple games while he was there before transferring to Michigan, and he was obviously the backup last season to JJ McCarthy. He's a quarterback that can run and is mobile and potentially could be a better passer than Alex Orji. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And Sherrone Moore, Michigan going to have to pick their starting quarterback early in the season, as they have a week 2 matchup set with the top 5 team out of Texas. So let me know who you guys think will be the starting quarterback week 2 against Texas for Michigan. Whoever it is, they may be on a short leash, depending obviously on how the game goes, but I do think that Michigan's defense will help the offense out, keep them in the game if the offense can't, figure things out early. But it's going to be real interesting. Alex Orji, phenomenal athlete. Michigan is definitely going to be using him in some sort of way, using him in certain packages just like they did last year, even if he isn't the starter. But there's a very good chance he will be the starter, but I would say Jack Tuttle has a great chance to be the starter as well. Jaden Davis, also a very intriguing prospect. However, he is a freshman. I do see him starting potentially next season, kind of like how JJ McCarthy did. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Let's talk about another major concern on the offensive side, and that is the wide receiver position. Michigan, they have the most experienced guy out of Tyler Morris, who is a junior, and they have Samaj Morgan, Frederick Moore as sophomores. Morion Walker came back. He will be a receiver. He is a junior. They also got CJ Charleston from the transfer portal, who is a smaller receiver. Kind of reminds me of an AJ Henning type of receiver. He came from Youngstown State. And Michigan also has Kendrick Bell, Peyton O'Leary, and incoming freshmen who haven't enrolled yet, Channing Goodwin and Amarion Stewart. So the projected starters most likely going to be Tyler Moore, Samaj Morgan, and Frederick Moore. I think those 3 guys are going to have the most production in the wide receiver room. But then you have an intriguing guy like Amorion Walker, who is tall and lengthy. We just haven't seen him catch that many passes at the college level. Michigan, they moved him to defensive back last season. Then he transferred to Ole Miss, came back to Michigan, and wants to be a receiver again. In Michigan, they needed a taller receiver anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see if Michigan, can get any productivity out of Amorion Walker. It's also nice adding CJ Charleston for depth. And 2 guys to keep an eye on as well is Kendrick Bell and Peyton O'Leary. Kendrick Bell is a sophomore, Peyton O'Leary is a senior. They're both on a little bit on the taller side and potentially, could have some impact in some games. Now, if Michigan does bring out Tyler Moore, Samaj Morgan, Frederick Moore, obviously all those receivers are on the smaller side. However, Michigan, they didn't really throw that many deep passes. Obviously, they didn't even, throw the ball too much compared to other teams last season. But then with Tyler Moore, Samaj Morgan, Frederick Moore, you're most likely going to see a lot of crossing routes. And Kirk Campbell, he's already talked about, adapting to what fits the players and how to put his players in the best position to make a play and what best fits their style. So whoever's out there, it's going to be the coaching staff's job to draw up the plays that really fits the players that they have. So I really do think this wide receiver room is heavily underrated. I'm very excited to see what Kirk Campbell has in store. Then you also look at the running back room. You obviously have the star of the team, Donovan Edwards, came back for his senior season. You also have, the power back out of Kalel Mullings. I think we're really going to see that 1-2 punch between Edwards and Mullings, kind of like Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum in the 2021 season. Michigan, they also have Tavier Dunlop, the senior, Benjamin Hall, the sophomore, who has been getting a lot of praise They also have Cole Cabana, the speedy sophomore, an incoming freshman who haven't enrolled yet, Jordan Marshall and Micah Kapana. The running back room is stacked again for Michigan. You have Donovan Edwards, Khalil Mullings, who are both going to get the bulk of the carries, but then you have Benjamin Hall, who, is going to get playing time for sure. You have Cole Cabana, who's been waiting his turn, yet to prove himself yet, but an intriguing prospect is Jordan Marshall. Lots say that he is college ready to go. Many believe he could be the next Blake Corum for Michigan. And when you watch his high school highlights, he certainly is going to be a great running back here at Michigan. And the last group is the tight ends group, which along with the running back room, not really concerned at all. Michigan has Colston Loveland, who's going to be one of, if not the best tight end in all of college football next season. They also have the senior Max Bredesen and the junior Marlon Klein, who's going to get the bulk of playing time. Max Bredesen is a great blocker, and Marlon Klein is a guy that people have been raving about. They say that he is the most athletic tight end in the room. Even Colston Loveland agreed with that. But Michigan also has the sophomore Zach Marshall, the sophomore Deacon Tonielli, who is another intriguing tight end for Michigan. Could potentially get more playing time this season. And they have incoming freshmen Brady Prescorn and Hogan Hansen, who are both very talented tight ends. Brady Prescorn, the in-state recruit from Rochester Hills, Michigan. Many say he could potentially be like a Colston Loveland for Michigan as well. But the main tight ends is going to be Colston Loveland, Marlon Klein, and Max Bredesen. So the projected starting lineup, if I were to guess right now, first the quarterback Alex Orji, running back obviously Donovan Edwards, wide receivers Tyler Morris, Samaj Morgan, Frederick Moore, tight end Colston Loveland, and then the offensive linemen will be Miles Hitton, Josh Preby, Greg Crippen, Giovanni Elhadi, and Andrew Gentry. Let me know what you guys think about that, and let me know in the comment section who you guys think will be the starters for Michigan this upcoming season. But a lot of people, counting out this Michigan offense, saying they don't have the quarterback play, they don't have the wide receiver play. They're replacing their whole offensive line from last season. But this Michigan offense, very underrated, especially in certain places like the wide receiver room. I think this offense really has potential to be good as long as Kirk Campbell, uses the strengths in his players. And obviously, if Michigan still has the run game, if they still have the offensive line that can create gaps and let Donovan Edwards loose, that's only going to help the quarterback play in the passing game. And obviously, Sharon Moore, a big believer in running the ball. We all know that. But a fun fact is Kirk Campbell, he was the offensive coordinator for the game against East Carolina, and they passed the ball a lot in that game. JJ McCarthy went 26 of 30, 280 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game, which was one of his best games. But I'm excited to see this offense. A lot of people counting them out. The players know that, and I'm sure that's going to, fuel them even more, motivate them even more. Let me know in the comment section down below. Is this Michigan offense highly underrated? And what do you think their potential could be this upcoming season? But with that, that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know if I should do a defensive depth chart video just like this one. But if you guys did go ahead to enjoy the video, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you're new around here. I greatly appreciate it. Other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.